Otakuology Podcast with Otaku Mike and Jin Graves.
So I burnt my mouth on a Hot Pocket like 5 minutes ago.
Is that we're starting the show?
Oh wait, we're starting?
So I burnt my mouth on a hot pocket. Are you gonna do the intro now?
Hey guys, welcome back to the Otakuology Podcast. I'm Otaku Mike, and this is Otaku Unwind. Or is it Otakuology Unwind, I think is what we call it. I can't remember. It's been a while since we've done one of these episodes. And we kind of just talk about the month that we had, what we've done, stuff like that. It's kind of there's not really one subject that we talk about in it, but you know, we just talk and kind of ramble on a little bit. It's very much we unwind from the month at hand.
Yeah.
And oh boy, we had a big month. Not just me burning my mouth on a Hot Pocket, but we had some interesting stuff happened with the podcast. We had an episode blow up within the MangaTube community for once. That was surprising.
Besides the Mishoku Tensei one?
Besides our Mishoku Tensei one, but that one was from Mishoku Tensei fans. I'm talking about it kind of blew up in the MangaTube community. And that was our MangaTube tier list, I guess, reaction, discussion, whatever you want to call it. But it got people talking because we talked about a video that happened, and a lot of people shared it, talked about it, talked with us about it, you know, stuff like that. Just want to thank everybody for listening to that episode and sharing it and stuff like that. You know, it's good to feel relevant, I guess you could say, in the MangaTube community, because there were times where I thought maybe we weren't like relevant, or you know, I don't want to say welcomed, but like I didn't think the manga community kind of like noticed us. I thought we were kind of somewhat in the background.
Notice me, senpai.
Off to the side, notice me, senpai type of thing, you know. But I know we had some people who were who do follow the show and do listen, who are regular listeners. But there were some people who came out and like, yeah, I do listen to the show from time to time, you know, which was very surprising. And you know, I just want to say thank you for that support. That meant the world to us to see that, you know, people actually do listen to our show and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah.
People that we you know, who are on Instagram and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how you feel. How you felt about it or not.
It was cool.
Yeah. It was honestly a lot more reaction than I thought we would get, in more of a positive way.
That's true.
Like I thought we were gonna get like raked over the coals, just to some extent.
That's true too.
That like I was expecting the other shoe to drop at that point, and I was like, okay, when are we gonna get the negative feedback? When are we gonna get this? Oh, it hasn't happened yet.
When's Otaku Mike gonna get put on the blacklist again?
But yeah, we did have that. But I don't know if I told you this though, but I actually sent the episode to Manga Hero to listen to, and because I didn't want any like bad blood or any like beef, because that's one thing that we like to say. We like to stay away from this, the beef. No beef. We like the chicken. No beef.
I just like protein. Okay,
protein. Whatever. you know. And I sent it. So I sent it to him. I sent it to him, and I was like, "Hey, man, just to let you know, we talked about you. We tried to do it in a non-biased way, and here's the thing you can listen to if you have any feedback you like to give us, or if you want to, want us to add something to the podcast, we can record something else. Kind of." Redact what we said or whatever, revise what we said, if you feel like we kind of came at you too hard, let me know. Because there were some times where you kind of called them stupid or what he said was stupid or whatever, So, but
Hey buddy, you were a lot worse than I was, okay?
I probably was. I don't remember, honestly,
Because me being a people person, I don't say things that directly target a person. I always try and say things that directly target the words coming out of your mouth. So
Fine.
I won't
Touche.
I won't go Otaku Mike, you stupid. I'll go Otaku Mike, what you said was stupid.
Anyways, so I reached out to him and he got back with me. And he was like, "Why would I listen to this? There's no face. This is 40 minutes of no face, And I'm like, "I was just trying to be nice, bro. Like, come on."
Right?
I was just trying to be nice and reach out to you about this subject because I saw some things that other people did. There was a 4.5 hour live stream Chase the Dark Sage did with a bunch of people who were on the tier list talking about that. And I listened to all 4.5 hours of that live stream. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, oh my God. Like, wow. That's something else. They're not wrong. It's their opinion, It was quite entertaining, even with all the technical difficulties. It was very quite entertaining. But I kind of felt like we weren't relevant because we had no faces.
We didn't have faces.
Yeah, because it's a podcast. I sent him the link to the podcast.
Oh,
And
I thought you said in Chase the Dark Sages things we weren't relevant.
No. And Manga Hero said that he was like, "Hey, I'm not gonna watch this. Like, you don't have a face." And I'm like, "Well, it's an audio podcast. It's audio. It's not audio video." And I kind of stopped from there. Like, I stopped talking to him. I was like, oh, this fucking asshole. Like, come on. And but he did reach out to me. I want to say like a week later, and he actually did apologize for what he said, and he plans to not be an asshole or a dick, which is good to see. It's good to see.
Oh, come on. You just got to be the right amount of asshole dick.
You got to be the right amount of asshole. Yeah.
I mean, look at one of my good buddies, Heartless.
But he's a lovable asshole.
Yeah, he's a lovable dick.
Yeah, you gotta love him,
Yeah, I mean, he's my buddy. I don't know if you want to rub up against him or anything, but
I rub up against him all the time. Just saying.
Well, guess what? He'll probably hear this on the podcast. So
probably. But yeah, I just want to say, there was a little bit of fallout from the whole MangaTube thing. I think it all got squashed. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know if those people talked to him, but he did issue a public apology and what he said or did in the video and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we'll go from there.
Do we offer squash?
What?
I said, do we offer squash?
I don't know. I don't know.
Because you said we don't have beef, so I had to ask if we offered squash.
Squash is nasty. Nobody eats squash. Squash is disgusting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. That was interesting to see because I didn't think anything would happen of it. Like I don't know. It was like I didn't think I would be talking to him again, and he reached out to me that one time, and I was like, oh, yeah. I told him to not be the next base senpai.
Yeah.
I was like, don't be the next base senpai.
You're gonna start some beef there, mister.
Don't be a dick. But yeah. Anything new with you?
I've been doing my Conquer Challenge stuff.
Oh yeah, how's that been going?
Pretty good. I'm up to 5 medals.
Uh-huh.
I've gotten a couple people turned on to it, so they actually have gotten into it.
Did you push their power button?
What do you mean?
To turn them on?
Yeah.
Like Chobits?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, definitely not. Pervert.
Oh, okay.
No, but they all wanted to start doing it as well, so they're doing stuff like that. And I got into a game that Papa Weeb kind of showed me, which is I almost call it Infinity Crisis.
Marvel Infinite.
Yeah, Crisis Protocol.
Uh-huh.
So I've been doing that, but for the most part, just doing that and kind of getting some other things cleared out.
Uh-huh.
Moving soon, kind of, sorta, ish.
How's that going?
Good.
Yeah.
I got plans for somebody to meet me after a while to help me move some of the stuff. And then we have some other. Well, I have some other stuff. I have somebody that now puts 2 or 3 people in my corner to help me do cosplay stuff now.
Why don't you just do the cosplay stuff? Why do you need help to do it?
I don't know how to sew.
Why don't you just learn how? Practice. Get materials.
And other people know stuff better than me.
So are you just going to have these people do the work for you?
Maybe with some of the clothes.
So you're not actually going to be making the cosplay yourself?
Not all of it.
Doesn't that kind of defeat the purpose of cosplaying?
I don't think so.
But you're not making it. You're having other people make it for you.
Well, I'm sure you could go into is it the making part of cosplay or is it the cosplay part of taking pictures and whatnot?
But usually people just make cosplays themselves.
Well, I mean, then we'd have to sit down and argue.
So, are you just wanting?
We had to sit down and argue why no actors make their own costumes, correct?
But that's different.
I don't think so.
That is different.
I don't think so.
You're somebody who wants to play dress up.
Hey, buddy. Models don't make their own dresses, do they?
You're somebody who wants to play dress up and dress up as a fantasy character versus a multi-million-dollar movie.
How do you know? I might want to dress up as you.
You can't pull it off.
All right, I'd have to cut myself off at the knee.
You won't be able to pull it off. You can't grow a magnificent beard like mine.
I'll just put a fake one on.
So have you started gathering and like getting tools and materials for cosplaying? Or are you just letting other people get those for you?
No, I mean I have some of the stuff, like anything that's like harder, that I can't find like a specific like jewelry piece for where I could make that myself or something, then I'll usually try and get that through a third party. But most of the clothes and stuff that is going to get made, depending on what it is exactly, if it's like a thin material, it's going to get made to be more breathable.
So, are you actually learning to sew? Have you actually
Mm,
taken that step?
Probably not.
When are you going to do it then if you want to get into cosplay? What's stopping you?
Well, I mean, I've asked some people to show me how to sew, but all
Uh-huh.
of them are like, I don't have the time.
Why don't you just you watch YouTube tutorials?
Well, I also don't have money to buy a sewing machine. So.
Well, I guess you got to do that first before you get into cosplay.
Well, other people have things that they can lend me.
So, are you basically trying to mooch off of other people to cosplay?
Um, Not per se. Probably just having people
Because
make the
from what,
clothes.
because from
But
what
I know
you
I
told,
have to buy the material.
because from what you told me the other day, you want to have a whole cosplay empire.
Hell yeah! Just like the Otakuology podcast.
Like, but I don't see you going and doing this stuff though. Like, I don't see it. Like, you're not showing me what's going on.
That's okay. You don't need to know yet.
Like, you're talking
Maybe
about doing all this
maybe I'll put
cosplay,
my
but
maybe I'll put
you
my
have.
cosplay stuff out. Maybe I've already started and there's another Instagram page somewhere that you don't know
I find that hard to believe.
about. What if just one day it pops up and you're like, is that Jin?
I have seen your first cosplay attempt. It looked like Hobo Team Rocket.
Hey buddy, you saw it from somebody else that has never done it before. So
I thought they were a cosplay expert.
um who knows?
It looked like Hobo Team Rocket.
Probably not. Not if you're not willing to do a portfolio and stuff. So probably not.
Okay. So tell
But
me, you told me the other day that your brother is starting to think of doing a podcast.
yes. So my brother Adonis is starting to uh, do a podcast. He was inspired by our podcast because he's like, if Jin can do it and
If
make
these
it look as
knuckleheads
easy
can
as it
do it,
is,
I can do it.
yeah. So from that idea, it actually spawned two podcasts because him and my brother Justin were talking about it. Adonis one's kind of his own podcast where he does stuff, and I don't know if he'll have anybody else incorporated onto it. But then we're supposed to have this other one that right now we're just nicknaming the Brocast.
That's
Um,
probably already taken.
it probably is, but why would you want to use the Brocast in
I don't
general
know.
if there's probably 70 other people that are using the same name? Because it has no uniqueness,
So,
right?
are you going to be a part of this second podcast?
Of this Brocast.
Yes.
Yeah, they want me to. Because it would just be kind of like a round robin where we would
Does
sit and talk about stuff.
does Otaku Mike get to be a guest in this podcast?
Uh, I don't know. I don't think they're having any outside guest on it because there's already
Because
like six people.
we had Justin on the podcast.
I mean, we might be on Adonis's podcast by himself,
Why can't I
but
be on the broadcast?
well, I don't know if you'd want to be on the broadcast because there's already going to be like six people. That's a bogged down system.
Yeah, but who's to say all six people are going to be on the podcast all the time?
I don't know because technically there's really eight. And
How are
I
you
was
gonna
like,
have
if
eight? How are you
I
gonna
was
have
like,
8 people on a podcast? That just seems like a fucking train wreck waiting to happen. Everybody's trying to get
exactly
everybody's trying to get their thoughts, and people probably overtalk. It's hard enough with 2 fucking people. Just saying.
right. So I don't know. I'm trying to let them kind of
Is
have that, and if they need to
is
ask me questions about it,
is this
you
kind of
know.
like is this kind of like still in the planning stages?
Oh yeah, for sure. Because I mean, I'm not planning on really holding that many hands. Like if they need help on some stuff, like I can do it. But I was like, I already have this podcast that I do stuff for with other things coming in the future and whatnot. And I was like, if you can get everybody else on board and everything else, like, sure, these are my time slots. This is my availability and things like that. So, I mean, there's just a lot of stuff that I'm like, I can do, but I can't do this and I can't do that and da 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 da. So,
It's not going to interfere with our podcast.
no, because we
Okay.
don't do anything on Sunday nights.
We could. You never know.
Oh, so you're interfering with that podcast. We're gonna start recording every Sunday night.
we do things on Sundays occasionally and
Yeah,
Fridays.
but we don't ever do anything like super late, like how that one's
No.
planning it out.
What's like the topic? Do you have any topics that you're going to talk about, or like are they just going to ramble for like an hour?
It's gonna be as far as I understand it, it's gonna be like a round robin, um, kind of like how we do the Unwind episode, except it's gonna be uh, you know, more people talking about stuff or hey, what did you think about this trailer or um, you know, just random subjects and things like
That
that. So
sounds like
there won't be any concise stuff to it.
that sounds like another podcast a friend of ours does.
Like what? Like what?
It's called the Pixelated Men podcast.
Oh no. No, I mean it won't be like any particular like subject or whatever, but it'll
So you're gonna be like Brocast episode 1.
yeah.
No topic, no anything, just
I mean, it might be like a
discuss.
yeah, and the title might come out of something that we talked about.
Oh.
So, no, I mean, it'll just be
So
like,
who
"Hey
who is
man,
all on this podcast?
so it's supposed to be Adonis, Justin, Trey, me, uh possibly Psy, ET, uh and I think maybe two other people
That's a
that
lot of fucking people.
have
Wait,
a
hold on.
potential.
Hold on.
What?
Trey's gonna be on this podcast?
Possibly.
Trey won't even come onto our podcast.
Maybe you just haven't messaged him and asked him.
I've asked him a couple times.
Maybe you got to send him a formal email.
I was like, "Hey, let's talk about Death
Well,
Note."
well, I don't know what y'all are going to talk about, but Jesus Christ.
You were on the phone. I asked him several times.
That's true, but that's what I'm
podcast.
saying. Maybe it's because it's not formal.
I think if you ask somebody over the phone, it's a fucking formal invite. Just saying.
I don't know. Maybe
Saying.
Maybe maybe you guys send him an email. Like
Give me his email. I'll send it to him.
Some of the higher up people that we talk to or whatever. You guys send a formal. Maybe you should send him one through PSN.
Okay, I'll do that.
Just call it. Maybe call him up on PSN and be like, "Hey, buddy, you want to come on the podcast?"
You got to find a microphone first to do that.
Oh yeah, that's true. You just have to send him a message on there then.
Yeah.
That's funny. But yep, so I mean that's like another thing. That's one that I just don't know. I don't know how long it's going to take, and I don't know how long any of that is. If there's a perfect time for it or not. But
I mean, they could do it without you.
they could.
I mean, it's not that hard to set up a podcast.
Yeah.
It's
Well, that's
not
what I'm saying,
It's not rocket science.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't, and I know, like, if we can get that one set up, then them setting up their own should be easy as pie.
Well, shouldn't he know how to set up a podcast? I mean,
I don't know if anybody knows how to set up a podcast.
Trey does. He was on a podcast before, right?
Yeah, but I don't know if he ran that.
Oh.
But yeah,
well, this is a maybe podcast that might happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you
Sounds
can't say
fun.
maybe. You can't say maybe too many times, because if you say that, it'll make it a positive.
Sounds fun, I guess. I can't wait to listen to the first episode.
Yeah, because we're a bunch of fun guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see. Actually, we'll see. It all depends on the first episode, and if y'all like jive well or not. Because that's like 8 people. That's a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, I know we'll jive well. The problem is if we can go. All right, your turn. Go. Your turn. Go.
So I had something funny happen the other day.
Yeah.
I was at lunch, like eating lunch.
Did you burn your mouth?
No, I did not burn my. I burnt my mouth on a quesadilla. I was sitting there eating my quesadilla at lunch, and I look up and I see this guy. He's like a couple tables away from me. I'm sitting by myself, eating lunch, watching YouTube or whatever, I see
Yeah.
this guy. I look up. He's like, I know that guy. And he starts pointing at me. And this entire table turns around and looks at me.
Yeah.
And then he pulls out his phone. And he starts showing people. And he's like, that's Otaku Mike. And I was like,
That's funny.
I was like, oh shit. Oh shit. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? I don't know what to do. I was kind of like frozen. I was kind of like deer in headlights.
Yeah.
I was like, I kind of waved.
Yeah.
And like I went back to eating my food. And he came over and started talking to me. He was like, hey, I just want to let you know my kid really likes watching your content. And I was
so he doesn't even like watching you. His kid does.
And I was like, oh, well, your kid shouldn't be watching my content. How old is he? He's like 18. And I was like, okay, then he's fine.
2.
We took a selfie together.
That's funny. That's funny. I know that guy. That's too funny.
It was such a fucking awkward moment. I didn't know what to do. Like,
well, I know we kind of touched on this subject before, but this sounds like a show that we need to do is when people catch you out and about and know who you are versus
which I've only had it happen. I know I've only ever had that happen one other time.
Yeah.
But I didn't know my reach went that far.
Yeah.
Like to where people would start like sort of recognize me.
You know what it is, right?
What?
It's those hashtags.
Oh.
Hashtag Big Daddy Texas Man.
But yeah, it was so. I was like, oh man, not to see this guy every day. Every day I have to see him now. Like,
You should come in one day with a luchador mask on.
I should. Yeah, that was.
I we've joked about. Me and one of my friends joked about that I'm gonna have to get a pair of glasses if I start all this other stuff, because they're like, you know your face will be in a lot of different places, and I was like, damn it, you're right. And I actually brought up, not this time but the last time, where you got somebody near you.
Your face will be in a lot of different places if you're popular.
Hey buddy, it will probably happen just like the podcast does.
We'll see about that.
You put one thing out there and it's out there forever.
That is true.
And
then
people just
people like
know.
People will like probably meme you. You'll probably be a meme.
I already have some of those, so
You'll probably be like Man-Faye.
Man-Faye?
Do you remember Man-Faye?
No.
So Man-Faye was this cosplayer. He got banned from, I think, a lot of conventions because he would dress up as Faye Valentine.
Okay.
Yes. Like, he had like an accurate like Faye Valentine, like yellow, costume, whatever, what she wears.
Yeah.
And apparently things would pop out and stuff.
Yeah.
Like the beans, maybe, if he like bent down and stuff.
The beans.
Or you could be like do you ever remember seeing pictures of like the guys who would dress up as Sailor Moon, but they were like fat bearded guys dressing up as Sailor Moon?
Kind of.
Yeah, you can be like that, cosplay like that, then you'll be popular.
Oh my gosh.
You get yourself dressed up like Sailor Moon or something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's
Yeah.
one of the things that I talked about with this other person, is making some of the female characters actually more male based, and going from there,
I mean, I just think if you really truly want to do cosplay, you need to just dive into it and do it yourself.
Yeah.
Like it's cosplay is very much an investment, just like the podcast is an investment. How we had to buy stuff for the podcast,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it is. If you really want to do cosplay, you need to like actually have to like work at it. That's how I feel about cosplay.
That's the plan.
Well, good luck with that.
So, yeah, but I got into a really good talk about like part of that stuff as well, because we talked about kind of like male to female things, and female to male, how you'll have a bunch of like the female cosplayers or whatever that will dress up as a male character but make them female. So I mean, we talked about that, and then we talked about kind of
question. I have a question for you.
Sure.
What category are you gonna fall into when you cosplay?
Are you gonna?
All right, because everybody knows there's two categories of cosplay. Are you gonna have the awesome, detailed, like cosplay that's like, oh, that's amazing, or are you gonna be like, I want to fuck that character cosplay? Like more of like the fetishization cosplay.
Are you asking me if I'm gonna do a Instagram versus an OnlyFans cosplay?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I hadn't thought about that far. I was just gonna do Instagram, but now that you brought this up, I might have to look at doing an OnlyFans cosplay. Maybe,
because
maybe female face should have, or male face should have done that.
I mean, like, just saying, like, when you look at cosplay, you have those ones that are like, oh, that is a fucking kick ass, like, realized representation of said character. Then you have the the slutty character. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm talking about. The
Yeah.
ones where the
people in a swimsuit or
yeah.
things like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was just gonna go with the Instagram version.
Okay.
I wasn't planning on OnlyFans, but I guess I'll
Um,
have to add that in there maybe at some
you
point
should
for you.
totally make an OnlyFans.
I'll have to add
I
it in there sometime for you.
I think it would go very well. You would
But
get
if
the
I ever,
bear.
if I ever did that, then I would have to quote unquote bare my soul to people. And
You would get the
here's the problem. Here's the problem though that in lies with that, because this could be a whole subject in and of itself, right? You know how this guy said, "Oh, look, it's Otaku Mike."
yeah.
Well, if I get somebody that goes, "Oh, that's Jen Graves," and hey, and just awkwardly, I hear another person, like another Instagram manga tuber or something, and they subscribe to my page, I will not know what to do. I'll just
Why
be like,
not?
"Hey, I don't know if we can be friends anymore."
Maybe they like bears.
Who knows? I mean, that's what I'm saying. But that will shine people in a whole different light. If anybody that we've had on the podcast so far ever subscribed to an OnlyFans like that of me, then I would definitely be like, "Hey, thanks for the support, but we can't be friends anymore."
Why not?
Because it would just be weird.
Why? I mean,
Because that would be like somebody
you're
that would be like somebody you and I knew in our past, and you going, "Hey, Jen, will you send me a dick pic?"
oh, that's a deep pool. Deep cut right there.
Right? Because I know what happened to like a bunch of people that knew said person, but yeah, I mean that's what it would be like. It'd be like you going, "Hey, buddy, will you send me a dick pic?" Now,
Well, I mean, you don't have to be
it'd be
like
weird.
fully naked. You don't have to be like fully naked, but I mean, you could also be like, "Hey, that'll cost you $20 for that pic."
Oh my gosh, of a dick pic.
Just say, yeah, just saying.
I'm 30. That's how much I'm charging. Yeah. Goodness gracious. Yeah,
No,
I mean, but it'd be weird though, okay? Because
okay.
then I'd have to question if people were friends with me to just see my goodies, or if they were friends with me because we had the same interests and they want to be my friend. Okay,
Oh man, yeah.
I would hardcore like at that point. If I started a cosplay page, I would hardcore be like, "All right, from this day forward, if you're not a podcast person or something like that has been on the show before, you're just a fan, and we can be friends." But that's about it. But I will not text you.
I need $50 for those feet pics. Just saying.
Oh my gosh!
Can
So
you
did I tell you? Did I tell you about that?
what?
So I set up another Instagram just to kind of like fill out the water, and
Uh-huh.
we have somebody that we know from before that actually did feet pictures and stuff or videos and would sell those and helped publish part of their manga and
Uh-huh.
like help them with their finances, all this other stuff. So
Yeah.
I jokingly put out a feet pic and I started putting tags on it. I was like, "Let me channel Otaku Mike." I put like 30 or 50 tags on this bitch, right?
Like feet, big feet,
I
male feet.
have like in like 10 minutes I have maybe like 5 offers to, "Hey, will you promote can we promote you on this page? I have 3 offers to buy feet pictures from me. A lot of other stuff. At the 15-minute mark,
Uh-huh.
it gets taken down because somebody reported it.
Oh, really?
I was like, how in the fuck?
I mean, that might be a good side job.
That's true. That is true.
I mean, it's just your feet.
I'm gonna be a hand model too.
Oh God.
Who knows? I mean,
So did you take anybody up on those offers to?
no.
No.
After the thing was deleted, all the messages and stuff went away with.
Oh, really?
So I don't know how it knows what to do, or because of whatever. But it was weird. So I was like,
That's funny. That's funny to hear.
yeah. So
Yeah.
testing out some waters, and there you go.
I
Which I didn't know how many people, because there's been more cosplayers put out the ask
uh-huh.
me a question, and so they'll answer these questions, which you already know that there's like hungry people out there. Oh, will you like show your boobs or your butt
Well,
or
yeah,
whatever?
very much like horny dudes.
Yeah, horny teenagers. So
Can
I
I,
didn't know.
can I just
I
can
started
I just
noticing though that there's a lot of people that if they have put the thing over their feet or whatever, that there will be
uh-huh.
people that will message and be like, show your feet.
Can I just say that is one aspect of the cosplay like community that really fucking creeps me out.
What?
Is the aspect of like the horny like thirsty like dudes, like almost like
Yeah,
creepy dudes
yeah,
that do that kind of shit, like oh I need this picture, like oh, and then sometimes like the cosplayers like feed into that.
yeah.
I don't know, maybe it's just me, but like it just gives me like really fucking creepy vibes, like
Right.
when like people like hey if, like I don't know, like it's almost like getting like an unsolicited like dick pic almost.
That's true.
You know, these. I mean, I guess there are probably people out. Who's the one? What's her name? She's really big in like adult cosplay, like the adult fetish cosplay scene. People really have like people like don't they like people like her, but like other cosplayers like hate her. I can't remember what her name was. Was it
I'm.
Momo-kun?
Oh yeah,
Is it Momo-kun? Is that who it was?
probably. You're
I,
making me think of Jessica Negri first off, and
I don't remember Jessica
scrolling.
Negri.
Look her up, Buttercup.
Okay, I'll look her up. Keep talking.
But I mean, yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of different things that go into that. But no, I mean, I fully agree with you, like having that whole thing, because you don't know if, like, that whole thing that happened with you at work, like, you don't know if it could have turned out, because what if the person was kind of a weirdo or a pervert and they turn around and are like, hey, you want to meet up after work sometime, like,
Oh, she's the lollipop chainsaw girl. That's who. Yeah,
yeah.
I remember her.
So, I agree there is kind of a line with it.
Yeah.
So I don't know any more than that though.
Like, I don't think it's wrong if you like use your sex appeal. Like, that's not bad, you know. But like, I think there's a fine line between like, what, like fantasy versus reality type of thing. Like, there's some people out there that are fucking nut jobs.
Right. Well, and I mean, I could never say that I wouldn't like do any nude stuff, because I mean that's like, you know, when you date people or whatever, you know, sometimes it's like, hey, you know, send me this, or, you know, a teaser, or, you know, whatever, you know. So I mean, I don't really feel like that's out of the realm of possibility unless you're like embarrassed kind of sort of about it.
I
Which
funny that you
it took me a while to do that, you know.
funny that you mentioned like nudes and like people. I know we're going on a weird tangent here. A
Hey buddy,
weird tangent.
that's what
But
our podcast is good for.
but I was dating this girl one time, and it was like our first, or like it was like our second anniversary or something like that, you know, whatever, of like dating.
Yeah.
And we ended up going. We were living together at the time or whatever, and she goes and like starts talking on the phone in the room with this dude. And I'm like, well, I thought we were supposed to be spending time together. Like it's our anniversary, you know, like,
Yeah.
you know, and like later on she comes, I'm like, okay, whatever, you know, like I was kind of like in like the whole like fuck you mood, because I was like, okay,
Yeah.
well, like fuck you don't care. She
Yeah.
comes out and she like gets in the bath, and she's like, she calls me in there. She's like, hey, can you take pictures of me so I can send them to so and so overseas who's fighting overseas, like in the military? And I was
Yeah.
like, what? You wanted me to take these pictures and have you send them to somebody else? Like,
Right.
n- no,
Right.
no, no. It's fucking weird.
Yeah. See,
Like,
and so here's another thing going playing off of that though.
we
You
didn't.
know, it's
We ended up breaking up
yeah.
after that.
So you know, like talking about like unsolicited dick pics.
Uh huh.
I feel that it's really weird sometimes because I like to think that like me, you, and some other people are men of class.
Our culture.
Yeah, of culture.
Culture.
Um, so you know, while most other guys, if they get sent something like if a girl's like, oh well, here's a picture of my boobs or something like that, um, you know, you have that whole thing that is like, oh my gosh, let me add this into like my spank bank folder, or, you know, something like that, you know.
Well, the thing is, like, also,
But
like
but
with that, you don't know.
my whole thing is that I've altered to now is I go, was this just for me, or have you sent this to many other people?
Well, also, if you end up sending it to other people, like, you don't know where that picture could end up, possibly.
That's true.
You know?
That's true. But I mean, that's kind of the thing. Like, I guess in the aspect of if you want to feel special, if I wanted to make Mike feel special, then you know, just like when I bought you the Snorlax guy, I have never bought anybody else. It is like not all this other stuff. You got that. It's a special thing. You're like, oh yeah, you know, took the time to find it, things like that. Now on the flip side of that, if I was like, oh here, Mike, here's this little Snorlax action figure thingy or whatever. This is one of 100 that I gave a 99 out to other people. You know, is it as special? You know,
No.
that's kind of the thing. You know, so I always try and like figure that stuff out and do it with a purpose. So like if I was going to do something like that, or like we said with OnlyFans or whatever, like that's kind of another thing that I feel like if I ever got in a conversation with somebody I didn't care about, it would be like, well, here's one picture from this shot that the shoot that I did, da da da, and it wouldn't be genuine. It would be something that you could buy for $23.99 or whatever,
Mhm.
you know, shit like that.
So, I don't know if you saw my latest. Have you seen my latest YouTube video I put up recently?
No, is it about Jim Graves? Do you love him?
S- I mean, you are mentioned in it at one point.
Do
But I did a hentai manga collection video.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
Uh,
I didn't watch it,
somebody
but I seen it.
somebody just commented, they were like, "You sir are a man of culture."
I'm done.
Yeah. You not gonna watch my hentai video?
I'm not gonna watch your hentai video. I mean, I can.
Oh.
I guess I don't know.
Are you saying you don't support Otaku Mike and Otaku Mike YouTube videos?
Otaku Mike and Otaku Mike Industries.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'll tell you the same thing I told a friend the other day that does YouTube that you and I both know. Because they wanted to get on to me about it, and I was like, honestly, I was
Actually, I
like,
don't. Actually, I don't really care. I'm just giving you a hard time on
I
it.
was, I was like, um, it's a good time if I can finish watching like 3 or 4 YouTube videos in a month
Yeah.
because I just have
Uh,
so much shit that I do.
I totally have a backlog of YouTube videos.
I do too, but that's why I
Watch.
don't. That's why I don't do it anymore because I'm like, when
So
you get down to the point where you're backlog and you find yourself deleting more videos because they got axed in some way,
yeah.
then you're watching. There's a problem. So
Yeah.
that's what I ended
So
up doing.
I finally cleaned out my closet.
Did you tell your mommy you were sorry?
Yeah, I did tell her I was sorry. But I got rid of all my Gundam boxes,
Yeah,
and you wouldn't imagine how much room they take up. Oh my god.
a lot.
It they take up a lot of fucking room. But I did keep all the manuals for all my Gundams, my Gunpla. I have all the manuals and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I showed
But
you what I did with mine. I just think it was funny whenever y'all visited or whatever, and your wife was like, "Hey, you see this right here? This is what you need to do to your Gundams and stuff right here." Because she was like, "Well, what'd you do with all the boxes?" I went, "I threw them away." So I was for sure waiting for you to say something like that.
well, I wanted to like take the tops off and like kind of frame some of my favorite boxes,
Yeah.
but I was just like, I'll just throw them away.
And that's the weird thing because after the first one, then you're like, oh yeah, it's easy to throw them away now.
True, true. That is true. I stacked them all up, and it almost touched the ceiling.
Oh, all your
Uh,
boxes.
yeah, like that's how many I had. It almost touched the ceiling. Uh, I stacked them all up. I should take a picture of that. I might take a picture of them all on my table at one point, but I ended up doing them like in one big stack, and it almost touched the ceiling. That's how many I had.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. And now I have a backlog that I have to get rid of, or not get rid of, but build. Actually, I got like 3, 4, 5. I got like 8 kits to build.
Yeah, you do. You were get on it, boy.
Yeah, I know.
Although, so you're gonna laugh about this, and this is
What?
completely. I'm just gonna throw you a bullshit thing, but I'm gonna be so upset because there might be one time if I ever start an OnlyFans where it's supposed to be whatever happens in the Gunpla shop, and I won't have boxes to stack up like I'm really in a Gunpla shop. Love in a Gunpla shop. That's what it would be called.
Okay.
But I won't. I
I
won't have my Gundam boxes to stick on the side.
don't know where you were going with that joke, but okay.
It was a joke that you won't have the Gundam boxes as props. To
Oh,
like put on the shelves in the background, like make it them authentic.
oh yeah. No, I get you. I get you. I mean, I'll eventually collect more Gundam boxes, and you know, it'll
You
happen.
are you gonna tell your wife that I gotta save these in case Jin Graves ever does that scene?
It won't happen.
Jesus. Never say never.
Yeah. I feel like this. I mean, do you have anything else to talk about?
Um,
No.
not really. I'm just playing Borderlands.
We got advertised or sponsored again.
We did?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean I knew that. I thought you were talking about like something else I didn't already know about.
No. We got our sponsorship back again, which was pretty cool.
Yeah,
That was
we got an advanced sponsorship.
yeah, which I don't know what the difference is.
I think it's longer.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, I think it's longer.
Yeah, I was like out of nowhere. I was sitting on the toilet at work. It's where I do
Yeah.
my best thinking. I was on the toilet, and I was like, wait, what? Sponsored? Oh man, we better get on this.
Goodness.
Because
Goodness gracious.
Anchor has been doing some kind of weird stuff. Like they took our sponsorship away, and they were trying to do this other thing. So and you had to get these qualifications to be sponsored, and I don't know how we hit that qualification to be exact.
Yeah.
I'm not for sure, but we hit it, so
Yeah.
I'm not complaining too much. I just it was just out of nowhere we got it in the middle of a day.
Yeah.
Yeah. How happy were you to see that?
Pretty happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was happy for a totally different reason than what you think, because
Why?
yes, I finally get to record an advertisement. I've been waiting on that.
Were you nervous, scared?
Not really. It did catch me off guard because, whenever you and I were talking about it, I was like, Mike told me that they were going to just give me the script that I was supposed to read from, and they didn't give me that. They gave me 50 fucking talking points, and I was like, oh shit. And I felt good because I said, well, you've been podcasting for a while, so we trust y'all basically on your recording ability. And I was like, oh well, that's nice. But then I was sitting there like, you gave me 50 talking points. What the fuck?
It's got to be 30 seconds.
Yes. So I don't know how I fucked up. I recorded twice.
Uh-huh.
I still said at least once, but I got it at 35 seconds. So
I mean, that's good. That's good.
I hit everything they wanted me to. I was like, oh my god, why?
I mean, it is kind of nerve-wracking a little bit.
It is true. Although I did have a couple friends or family that listened to the podcast a little bit, and they heard that, and they were like, oh, look, big time. I was like, don't say that. I said,
big time Jen.
I said, I'm only getting paid a penny a listen for this shit.
And we gotta split the pennies.
That's true. So we can't even do anything till we make 2 pennies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they were like, oh man. So, and then I love my family sometimes, but I had somebody sent me a a script reading thing for a commercial that was being advertised, and they're like, now that you've done the other one, you can do this one and get paid. I was like, what the fuck? They were enjoying themselves a little too much. trying to bust my balls over other stuff.
That's funny.
So yeah, but
Yeah, it was exciting.
yeah.
Exciting news. I that was something that was very unexpected. Uh, our views have jumped up recently, which was good. We were in a tiny slump before that, but I think things are going in the right direction. I can see us doing big things with the podcast.
Yeah,
You know,
I guess I don't know.
I mean,
I ain't as
I
good
think
as I
so.
once was.
I think I see us doing big things.
Yeah,
If we can get Zaku Aurelius to come on, we can get anybody to come on. Just saying.
I don't know. I mean, anybody from YouTube probably.
Probably not Ryan. We can get Ryan. I think we can get Ryan Reynolds.
Would you be able to speak in that one?
I don't know.
I mean, it was already kind of hard for you to speak on the Zaku Aurelius one.
It was pretty hard. I was like, "Don't fuck this up, Otaku Mike." In my head, I was like, "Don't fuck this up."
Right.
I didn't want to embarrass myself in front
Oh,
of Zaku.
one thing that came and went, and we totally forgot to like bring it up on the
What?
Unwind show at all.
What?
About my surgery shit that I had. Well, I guess it wasn't technically surgery.
Yeah.
So for
About
anybody
how
listening, if the past couple shows weren't up to your liking because you didn't get enough gin time in on it, it's because I went to the ER maybe like 3 weeks ago and was diagnosed with Bell's palsy, so half of my face is paralyzed. And so Mike had to pick up a lot of slack on some episodes.
So wait, is it still paralyzed?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, so like almost every muscle in my face I know of is like healed. I can move everything around at least as much as I know that I can. The only muscle I'm still waiting to heal is the muscles in my neck, because I can't fully pull them yet.
Okay.
And the only other thing that's still kind of weird, on the breathing and everything else, is just half of my tongue I still can't taste sweet stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know it affected your tongue. Oh,
Yeah.
just your face.
No, it was half of my tongue too. Like I couldn't do anything, and then it's still kind of affected. So if I eat something sweet, then it pulls out like the bitter flavors of it first. So I can't like taste it.
I can't taste anything right now either. So I burnt my tongue on a Hot Pocket.
Oh yeah, that's right. See, look, so we're kind of the same right now.
But yeah, that was pretty scary. I thought I didn't know what we were gonna do.
Well, and then the other thing is I thought it was going to be for a month.
Yeah.
So I mean, besides the tongue and part of the muscles in my neck, like everything else is already like healed up or whatever, and that was basically in a 2-week period. But yeah, I mean, other stuff that I looked at said that it probably wasn't going to be for a month and a half, and I was like, oh shit, that's like a lot of stuff that we have to record that might be SOL'd for a little bit.
Well, I mean, if it came down to that, I was willing to not record anything. We just take a month off.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would hurt or help us, but
Right.
I mean, there's nothing we could have done about it. Really.
Which,
I mean, I'm not gonna. I wouldn't sit there and replace you for a month. Then
which I forgot if we got the advertisement before or after that too. I think it was after that.
It was after that, yeah. Because you ended up being diagnosed right before we did the podcast with Lizette, and Zaku Aurelius.
That's true.
Which we still got to release our Lizette Epic Manga Book Club podcast.
That's true.
We still got it. That was a fun podcast.
That's true. So yeah, but I think I did a good job of like hiding it. A lot of people didn't know about that. A lot of people didn't say anything. If anything happened like that. So I mean, and then I kind of am like, I pre-record some of our episodes, and I was like, what if there's an episode way in the future? I just was like. And I go to listen to it again or whatever, and I'm like, what the fuck was this shit?
Yeah. Because, I mean, you were originally going to, like, wait. And I was like, no, fucking go to the doctor. Like, fucking, you need to go get that checked out.
Yeah. Like, well, I mean, I was trying to go see my practitioner, and then they said they wouldn't see me, so.
Yeah, like, what if you were, like, having a stroke and you didn't know it?
I know I didn't have a stroke. I knew I didn't have a stroke.
It could have been, like, a mild stroke.
That's one of the things that everybody was talking about, too, because, I got a little ballsy. I cut some ties with people in my life that were just pains in the asses, and the only reason basically that I had them around was for, well, I don't know. They should have just been people I cut off originally. But it did make me a little more ballsy, a little more outspoken on some shit. And so, I did cut some people out of my life and do some other stuff like that to make life less stressful and get around some of that BS.
Yeah, that's always a good thing, Less stress in your life is always good.
Right.
For and stuff. But yeah, I think we've been going on for quite a long time now.
Yeah.
With the podcast episode.
Anyway, if anybody else has questions about that or whatever, obviously, I can tell you about it now, being somebody that has gotten over it, But anyway, thanks for listening to the podcast. We will catch you guys later. And as always, remember 2 things. 1, we'll see you next Tuesday. And 2,
you stupid motherfucker, don't fucking say it. Jen Graves is the bottom.
Otaku Mike will always be at the bottom of
Jen
this
Graves
pyramid.
is the